Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Today's video, it's going to be all about my top 10 eyeshadow palettes of right now, of this moment that I have enjoyed this year. I have a lot of palettes. I've got 160 something if you saw my recent makeup inventory. And so it was hard to pick, but also I've been wearing more minimal eyeshadow this year than I have in the years past. But these are just the palettes that I truly, truly love. I think they're amazing, and I thought that I would share. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe for more. Also, it's Geek Miss daily videos through Christmas Day. I did miss a couple of days, I'm sorry, and that's because I'm not feeling that great. So, there's that, but I am trying. I'm trying to get back on track, and let's get into this video. Okay, these are in no particular order, but I've decided to separate them by brand. And so these two, Pat McGrath. I love my Pat McGrath palettes. And I picked these two out of all of those to go into this top 10 because they really are my favorite. So first up, we have this one, Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction. I love this one. I think it's amazing. These special shades here are gorgeous. The red is beautiful. I was wearing this in some recent videos. I don't remember which ones right now, but I absolutely love it. I love this plummy matte. It's gorgeous. So that one's fantastic. And then the other one that I picked from Pat McGrath to go into this top 10 is Moonlit Seduction. This is absolutely stunning. I love these mauve shades. I love that shimmer shade and really all of these. And I did get recent good use on my Pat McGrath palettes because they were in my Project Level Up, which I did recently update that. So I did get a lot of use on these palettes this year because of that project. And I've really enjoyed them all, but these two, I think they're definitely my favorite. Now, there's going to be a lot of Natasha Denona in this video, so I think I'm just going to do the other brands other than Natasha Denona for right now. This one, the Sydney Grace Be Mine palette. It's so pretty. I love this color story. I love the Sydney Grace formula. It is so pretty. Their metallics are just so nice. This green one is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I love their metallic shades. This shade is also one of my favorites in this palette. It's kind of like a dirty bronzy gold. That's this one right here. I absolutely love it. So I love the combination of mauves with neutrals, a bit of green. Like I said, I've been doing more minimal eyeshadow this year, not super colorful eyeshadow by any means. And yeah, I love this palette. It's amazing. I love my other Sydney Grace palettes too, but I just decided to pick one for this top 10. And then we have Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Hudson Valley palette. This is the palette I'm wearing today. I do have a lot of Nomad palettes and I do love them all, but this is my number one by Nomad. I love this palette. This is just my color story. This is what I gravitate towards, and I just think it's an amazing palette. So this one is mostly mattes, which I love because I don't wear shimmers as often as I used to. So this one only has 3 metallic shades here, and then you've got the warm mattes here and the cool mattes here. And today I just have this shade here called Great Pumpkin Patch in the crease, and then this shade called Apple Cider Donut on the lid. Super easy look, but I really, really enjoy it. The metallics are pretty too. This metallic lime green is very, very beautiful. And the mattes are too. I mean, I really like the mattes in this palette. I think Nomad has really good mattes. They're really easy to blend. This beautiful matte orange there. So yes, I love all of my Nomad palettes, but this is my number one. I love the formula. I love the color story. This palette is perfection. Really, it's a stunner. And then I wanted to include this palette because I actually used it a lot this year. This is the Colourpop Gone Matte. And like I said, I'm not wearing a lot of shimmers these days, so this is the perfect palette for me. And I really reached for this a lot. I just think it's beautiful. The formula on these mattes, it's fantastic. They blend out really well, and you just really have every matte shade that you could want. That's in the neutral family, of course. There's really no colorful shades, but you've got the grays, the pinky colors, the warm browns. It's fantastic. The formula is really good. They blend really well. I used this palette a ton, And yeah, I think it's the best. I really, really do. I love other Colourpop palettes too, obviously, but this is definitely the one that I wore the most this year. Okay, and the next 5 palettes are all Natasha Denona, which is probably my favorite eyeshadow brand. I love all of these, of course, but I really like my Natasha Denona palettes, so here we are. First up, Retro palette. This is so pretty. I love the mauve tones. You've seen this palette a million times. Nothing new or exciting here, but personally, I think this one's amazing. I've hit pan on it. This is a palette I've used a lot, and it's definitely one that I reach for when I want that perfect mauve look, and I just think it's amazing. Next up is the I Need a Nude. I mean, it's pretty basic, but it's also pretty good. The shimmers are really pretty. The mattes blend really well. You've got some kind of peachy tones with some cooler tones. It's kind of like the perfect right in the middle neutral palette. I love this shade here called Mia for inner corner in particular. It's really, whoops, it's like scared I was gonna drop the palette. This shade right here. Very lovely for inner corner. All right, another Natasha Denona favorite is the Glam palette, which is more cooler toned, but it's not super cool toned. It's definitely neutral leaning, but more cool toned than I Need a Nude. But it's not like a straight up gray palette. I would say Xenon is super cool toned. And I have that palette, and that's probably my least used Natasha Denona palette is the Xenon, which I should pull that out. I mean, I do like it. I just don't reach for those like extremely cool tones all that often. This one, again, you've seen this a million times. It's really nothing crazy or out there, but it's just really pretty. And this is a palette that I tend to go for kind of when I'm like, you know, more of a special occasion, bronzy shade right there. I really, really like. It's just a good palette. It's nothing, you know, it's not that unique, but the formula is really good. I had to talk about Metropolis. I love Metropolis so much. This is just a palette that excites me. Again, it's like the Nomad palette, real warm tones. I love that. That's definitely my favorite is the ultra warm tones. And so this one is just fantastic. Golds, browns, it's stunning. I've hit pan in this one too, as you can see, and I've got a lot of dips happening. The metallic formulas in here are so pretty. They're so sparkly. I love it, okay? I can't help it. I've mentioned this a few times, but I love this palette so much that I bought the Alter Ego dupe to have as a backup because I'm afraid that this is going to go bad at some point. This palette is from, is it 2018 or 2019? I can't remember, but it's from a while ago and it's perfectly fine. I'm still using it, and I have eyeshadow palettes that are much older than this, but I wanted to have a backup because I love it so much. So I bought the Alter Ego dupe. And then last up, I had to talk about this palette, partly because I spent so much money on it, but I actually really, really like it. And it is the green brown palette. I also do have purple blue, but I don't use that one nearly as much. The shimmers in here are extra special. I love the metallics in all the Natasha Denona palettes, but there's just something really smooth about these. This metallic green up here is just like you barely touch it, and it's just, I mean, look at that. It's so amazing. And you don't have to wet your brush for these shimmers. I also love this like bronzy row here. And this one is more shimmers than mattes, but I don't mind because the shimmers are just so like easy to use. I think I've become so lazy with makeup. Sometimes with shimmers, like with my Pat McGrath palettes, it's like you definitely have to wet your brush with those. Not that that takes that long. It takes like 3 seconds to do like 2 sprays. But I don't know. I've become a little lazy with my makeup. I want it to be easy, simple, and fast. But these shimmers, you don't need to go through that step by any means. You do not need to wet your brush. So you just slap these on and go, and they're really pretty. It's a very expensive palette. At this point in time, I definitely would not be buying a palette this expensive. First of all, I've been on a no-buy, so I haven't been buying any palettes, but I'm just not at a point where I want to be spending this much money on makeup, but I have it, so I want to use it. I already spent the money, you know, you get it. But that is it for this video. These are my top 10 palettes in my collection right now. I really, really love these. And if I had to just get rid of everything else, these are the 10 that I would pick, and I would feel perfectly fine with that. I don't really need a lot of colorful shades because I'm not wearing colorful eyeshadow very much anymore. But these palettes are versatile, beautiful, formulas amazing, color stories all right up my alley, and really I would feel fine having just these 10 palettes, which I mean 10 palettes is even a lot. But yeah, that is it for this video. And if you're new, I hope you'll subscribe for more. Check out the Geekmas videos. I'm trying to get back on track. I'm trying. And yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.